basically what we're experiencing right now is two master chess players sitting at the board. And one of them looks down at the board and sees that he's in checkmate in 7 moves. And he looks across at his opponent and he knows that his opponent sees it too. So there's no getting out of it. So at this point, the loser can only prolong the game. Both players know the game is over. It's only a matter of time before he does this, and then you're forced to do this, and then he's forced to do this, and eventually checkmate. Based on the rules of the game, the bad guys have already lost, the good guys have already won. Yes, there's moves left on the table, but those moves are being forced by the player that is going to win. The only way that checkmate can't happen is if the player that's winning makes a mistake. But from all of the information that I've gathered, all of the information that's been given, all of the information that's been vetted to me, it seems pretty obvious that the good guy player on the side of the chessboard knows exactly what has to be done to win the game. And so at this point, any mistake would be all but impossible. And I'm sure most people sitting watching a chess match between two advanced chess players know the game's over long after the two players know it's over, because they can't see the board and see that there's only 7 moves left.
But right now, your top 2 legislative priorities, your social spending package and voting rights legislation, are stalled, blocked by your own party after months of negotiation. You are only guaranteed control of Washington for 1 more year before the midterms. Do you need to be more realistic and scale down these priorities in order to get something passed?
No.
Scott, I read a piece that you just wrote, essentially saying this is Joe Biden doing what Joe Biden does.
Yeah, well, I never imagined how quickly this would all unfold. The person they sold on the campaign, the nice old, moderate grandpa who just wanted to help everybody get along and compromise, is not what we got over the last year. He has no mandate really to do much of anything. It's amazing that he got a couple of things done when the mandate was really pretty clear. 50-50 Senate, a near 50-50 House, and a pretty close presidential election. The mandate was simply replace Donald Trump and don't do anything drastic or stupid. And everything about this agenda is extremely drastic. And he's been angrier than I think people expected. He's been more divisive. He's been more partisan. You look at the issues. We built 5 years of coverage on Trump out of Russia, COVID, and democracy. The president at his press conference invites Russia to invade the Ukraine. We got more deaths under Biden than Trump. And now we have the president and vice president and leading Democrats question the legitimacy of the 2022 election. Are we any better off on these 3 issues that we crucified Trump over? I think he has a lot of political problems, and an AP poll came out this morning. Only 28% of Americans want the sitting president to run for re-election, and fewer than half of Democrats. This is a disaster.
He wants to go back and graft off the greatest generation. No, you're not. The folks that vote for Biden are not the brave enough, not the resilient. You're curled up in a corner. You want more government. You want another bailout bill. You don't want to go to work. You want to wear a mask. You want to get 9 vaccines and 15 boosters. You're weak. You're weak. And this is why you're losing. But I just want to make sure people understand, not Steve Bannon, not the War Room, not the partisans. Ashley Parker, the biggest never Trumper in the world, from the Washington Post, lead story yesterday. Old, incoherent, weak, sleepy, lazy, needs to take a nap. These are people that voted for him and like him. The Associated Press reports today 28% of people in the nation wanting to run again. 70% don't, including, wait for it, 48%. Only 48% of the Democrats wanting to run again. The New York Times did an Ashley Parker type article by Patrick Healy. We're going to have it up in Denver. I just want to give you the first words that come to mind from the New York Times. Different than the Washington Post, New York Times. Here's the first words that come from people in one of these focus groups. Out of touch, incoherent, functional adult, pathetic, clueless, detached, puppet, complete disaster, spaced out. In the pages of the paper of record of our republic, the New York Times. That's what the first word that comes. Tom Hanks, brother, suck on this. This is the home of the brave. We're brave enough to stand in the breach and say, write this down, Tom, or more importantly, have your agent write it down. Write it down. By the way, all the money you take from China on your films, don't sit here and give me this virus that came from it. It came from a PLA lab of guys you take money from, bro. Hey, suck on this, Tom Hanks. Write this down. Trump won. Biden's illegitimate. We killed his presidency in the crib. 28% of the American people want him to run again.